The Puerto Rican government is asking for additional federal aid to help the millions of people who are still struggling from the effects of Hurricane Maria. Well, now the Department of Homeland Security says the waiver for the Jones Act, this is a 100-year-old law that prevents foreign flagships from carrying cargo between the U.S. mainland and Puerto Rico, has run out and will not be extended. Joining us now live by phone is Governor Ricardo Rossello of Puerto Rico. Governor, you've been very supportive of the Trump administration so far, but you could not support, I would suspect, this failure to continue the waiver of the Jones Act.
Well, you know, I think there needs to be further consideration onto the Jones Act extension. I think we're in a situation that merits a little bit of an extension so that we can see and we can mitigate, what is currently still a life-sustaining phase of this emergency.
Can I ask you, Governor, forgive me, but have you actually protested the move not to continue the waiver of the Jones Act with the president?
No, as I understood it at this juncture, they were going to be seeing it on a case-by-case basis to make sure that it wasn't a hindrance. But of course, there was still going to be some discussion. So I haven't had discussions on this topic. I was rather focused on the immediate relief package from Congress to Puerto Rico at this point.
You know, as sympathetic as the entire nation is with Puerto Rico, I mean, it's an awful situation. We know it. We want to help, but at the same time, the economy of Puerto Rico was not in good shape even before the storm. You were virtually in a state of bankruptcy at one point, and a lot of it is because of the bureaucracy in Puerto Rico. Many taxpayers outside the island are worried that some of that money, rather than helping Puerto Rico, might just help in the bloating of the bureaucracy. Have you taken steps, or are you going to take steps to prevent that from happening?
Yes, let me quell that perception. I've been in office for a little over 8 months, and while in office, I've executed the most aggressive fiscal agenda, I would say, in the nation at this juncture. I slashed $1.4 billion of our budget. That represents close to 20% of our budget. You know, I slashed 20% of political appointments to our government. I established a fiscal plan, and I opened the doors for economic growth and private sector participation within our efforts in our society. So we were well on our way to establishing.
But Governor, the point is that we have seen before in other disasters some of the relief being channeled through governors that maybe are not as efficient as you. Can you guarantee the American public that all the extra money, all of the extra billions, will be spent responsibly and will not end up as did with Katrina, for example, being wasted?
Yes, that is my commitment. That is why my team is committed to following through, and this is why we don't just want to restore Puerto Rico to how it was prior to the storm. We want to make sure we can rebuild it better than what it was before. Of course, this requires transparency. I recognize that this is a lot of resources, as in with Texas and with Florida, but you better believe that this government is serious about making the fiscal reforms that we need to, about making the economic development reforms that we've put in place, and to execute them and have visibility and transparency to all of the taxpayers.
So finally, in wrapping up, this seems to be a new beginning. You may be able to incorporate what happened in restoration after the storm with an attempt to get rid of the bureaucracy that has really hamstrung your economy.
I agree with that, and we were already on a path to doing that. In the past, we wanted to reduce our government from 131 agencies to about 35. That was a commitment I had, and now I think we're in a position to continue on doing so. Of course, what we need is a runway. We need to recognize that Puerto Rico had fiscal limitations way before the administration, that the storm has changed the game essentially, and that we need some of the immediate relief so that we can have runway and start applying all of these reforms that were already underway. Well, I'm committed to executing, to getting results, and to making sure that Puerto Rico, that every taxpayer dollar is used appropriately for restoration, and that Puerto Rico gets a stronger platform for it afterwards.
Governor, we wish you the best. Please continue to stay in touch with us. We want to give the viewers progress reports as you continue. It's a very important project. We thank you for joining us.